If you like riding
and you like eating,
you can have both
at Footlong Pony.
Stop, drop, kaboom, baby, rub on them nipples.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the Footlong Pony podcast. I'm your host, Nathan. I don't have a nickname for you today, Robbie. Mr. Shit, Rob Castle.
I'm Mr. Shit.
My lovely wife, Megan, and we are joined again by Brittany.
Hello. Fucking remember Ludacris? Move, bitch.
Yeah, he's doing.
I wonder
those.
if more people know him as an actor now.
Yeah, he
than
doing
a
those
mediocre rapper.
fucking awesome
Oh.
Fast and the Furious movies. God, I love those movies.
I was trying to think of bands that like.
Sarcasm. Yeah, movies suck ass.
LOL. I was trying to think of bands that I listened to, like where they split or they got a new singer, and I don't think there's any of them that like got new singers per se, but some of them left the band and started new bands. Fucking Brand New and Taking Back Sunday, they were like friends, like Jesse. I don't remember his last name, and he's my favorite.
Lacey?
Yes, thank you, Jesse Lacey. And then the lead singer of Taking Back Sunday, or like one of those people in Taking Back Sunday. They like were in a band together in high school,
Oh, really?
and like somebody slept with someone's girlfriend. I don't know what happened.
Hey, what happens?
Right. I don't know the full story. Don't
Bro
quote
code,
me on
man.
it. But they they separated. They both got their own bands, and they they got pretty popular, which I
Yeah.
think is kind of like weird coming from this. Like that, how often does that happen?
Didn't Buddy from Census Fail? He started a group with the rest of Finch. Remember Finch?
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking
What was
loved
What
Finch.
was
I
that
don't-
group
I don't
called? It
remember
was a
what it was
weird
called.
name. Remember?
I didn't listen
Bob
to
Yates,
it.
if you're listening.
Fuck you, Bob.
Fuck you, Tom.
But
We had to slip it in.
Bob would show me these guys, and it was cool.
I
It
don't
was
remember
cool
that one.
collaboration.
I never listened to it.
Oh, we
it
were
was,
talking
it was
about
good.
lead singers that left from first to last.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
Sonny,
Skrillex.
Sonny Moore is now Skrillex.
Wow.
I remember when I found that out, I was like, are you fucking shitting me?
It's like Transformers fucking.
I think there was something last year, or maybe the year before that leaked, that said that he was going back to sing from First to Last again.
Dude,
and
I
I
dug
fucking
it.
lost my shit.
That was a good band.
I love From
I thought he
First to
couldn't
Last.
sing or something. Like,
He
isn't
like
that
blew
why
out his
left?
vocal cords pretty bad.
A lot of them screamo guys did because they just
They didn't know how to
Yeah.
scream.
Yeah.
don't
They
know
were
what
just
they're
screaming.
Like Matt Shadows. See, that's why he don't scream anymore. He was like spitting blood and shit.
He fucking blew him out again. They
Well,
had
James
canceled their last
Hetfield from
tour.
Metallica did that.
Yeah.
That's why he sings like a dipshit now.
So I don't know. For First Last also may have put something out already. I don't know. My information's outdated. I don't really keep up on that band as much anymore. I stopped listening to them after that fucking Heroin album.
That
Oh,
album's-
God.
It was like all right.
I liked that one song they had.
Is it the Ride the Wings of Pestilence?
No, they had a different song on that
That was
album.
a mouthful.
It's a fucking awesome song.
What was that? They had another hit off that album I really liked.
There was Emily, which was a really popular one, but
It
that
was
was
on-
like a slower song.
Hmm.
Note to Self.
Yes.
Note to Self, I miss you terribly. That one. That one's a good one.
So I don't like follow bands. I follow like certain songs.
Mm-hmm.
So coming from you guys like certain bands. You're strong-headed towards those bands. Would you
True.
rather see a band like stick with one style, or would you rather try to see them mix it up and try?
I love this.
Because you know,
I like this,
me not being a band follower, I like certain songs.
Mhm.
Well, it may be different than what they're, originally sound like. So, because to me, if they have one style,
It would get
not
monotonous
it's
and boring.
it's kind of like it's the same song,
Yeah.
different lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
and
Nickelback.
So-
I read something about Nickelback. I want to get to that here in a little bit. Go ahead.
but so you guys being strictly one these
Mhm.
bands that you know and love, would you like to see them branch out,
I
or
do
would you
this.
want them just to stay?
I judge a lot of bands on this.
certain bands,
Certain bands
yeah.
can evolve. Certain
I
bands
would like to
cannot.
see. Yeah.
I feel like it depends on the kind of music you're going to. For instance, I fell in love with Paramore in late 2005 before a lot of other people did. And so I watched Paramore and Hayley Williams become what they are today. And they're one of the bands that, man, they were that pop punk band of the mid 2000s.
Oh yeah, they were better. I like them. They were like, to me, they were like a better version of like Avril Lavigne.
They did so well. 2007 was like their year. And the music they make now, And I don't.
pop.
It's pop music, but you know
Yeah.
what? I don't even give it. I don't think Haley
not
Williams
horrible.
gives a shit.
No.
And I think that's the difference. She's not trying to convince anybody. She's like, I'm making the music I want to make, and that's it. And like she said it. She's like, I don't care what you think it is. She embraces it. I think they embrace it as a
Yes.
band. And they've evolved so much. They do make different music than they did before. Some of their stuff still, like, I think there are still, like, small nods to the music that they used to make because they still use guitars. And, you know, they still use a full band.
But does that make them a worse band now than they were?
No.
Because they changed that style.
I think they're equally as good as they were before.
I think
But not all bands can do that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
So does that
It's-
make them a
That's
more
probably up to the
a
individual.
better band
I think
because they
suck.
can adapt?
You think they suck?
I think they suck now.
Mm.
I
I think
hate 'em, but I'm not like,
I mean, it's
like our
all
song.
opinion. But
Their stuff now is more like 80s-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got
And
that,
I like
it's
it.
got, like,
All the
Cyndi
videos
Lauper
they
type
made
shit.
for it.
I think that's why I like it.
That Ain't It Fun? That
Yeah.
song, that's like
Mhm.
to me, I
That
can-
was
that's
that
what-
was
reminds me
fucking
of
3
Cyndi
years
Lauper,
ago.
like the Goonies
Mhm.
song. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Good enough for
Mhm.
me.
yeah, so I feel like there's Taking Back Sunday. They're a band that has been around since the early to mid 2000s. And they still make music almost. It sounds pretty similar to what they did before. It's just a little bit more adult, I guess, because they grew.
yeah,
with
'cause
it.
they were
They were like the
emo, weren't they?
I wouldn't even classify them as that emo though. When I think emo, I'm thinking fucking My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, the epitome of emo.
I think they're more like a post-punk.
They're-
Maybe,
yeah, like-
edgier, fucking, almost.
Because he never sounded,
Alternate-
you know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay.
Like,
almost an edgier, like alternative rock.
I feel like I classify
I thought
them.
you were going to say an edgier Tom Arnold.
Yes,
I see it. Yeah.
I classify them in the same with Brand New, like just alternative-ish
okay.
in this
Yeah.
alternative rock.
Thursday,
Thursday, yeah. So that's how I classify
Poison the Well.
Take Back Sunday. They just evolved, but I feel like they make the same music. So I
Yeah.
feel like it depends on the band on how they decide to move forward, and it depends on if they're pretending to still be the band that they were before.
Yeah.
If you pretend to be the same band, for instance, Linkin Park did. They were just like we're not that like. I feel like they were pretending to be the same band, but denying the fact that they were. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know exactly.
So
what you
maybe
mean.
that's
Denying
part
the fact
of
that they
we
moved
can
forward.
tell, as consumers, you can tell if someone's full of shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like
right, but
if
I
you
probably
just
wouldn't
embrace it.
notice,
mm-hmm.
like because
No.
you know, coming back to me, like I don't follow the band or so I probably wouldn't notice those small
Right.
details. So it doesn't make them, in my eyes, a worse band.
Right.
It's adapting to what they have.
Right. And also,
So-
I feel like it's just honesty within the band. I feel like
Mhm.
that's how their success is going to go. If you're going to say that, like I feel like, not speaking ill of Chester, he was like, we're not that band anymore.
well, he got shitty about people
He-
being like, we want hybrid theory.
Yeah, and he was just like, he was
fucking
like
forget it or
mad
whatever. Yeah.
mad at the people who were saying that, but it's like those people loved you because of that. Like you are where you're
Yeah.
today because of that, and the fact that you're ignoring it, I think that's what it is. Like that's why maybe people didn't respond well to their newest album because it was just like fuck that. Like it's
Well,
like
this is why
just be
we're a
honest
fan.
with yourself.
Mhm.
It's a slap in the face of that album.
That's how,
Yeah.
that's how Metallica fans see. They started making like ballads. It was like, fuck you. You guys were the heaviest. You guys were edgy and heavy. You guys were better than.
They invented
Yeah.
like I know they weren't speed metal, but speed metal came because of
Yeah.
Metallica.
Yeah.
Like the four big bands back then, the thrash bands was Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax.
Fucking Slayer.
Those bands were for the guys that didn't want to listen to fucking bands that looked like chicks. They weren't
Mhm.
into Poison and
Mhm.
like Motley Crue and
Motley Crue is the one I was thinking of earlier.
they weren't
Yeah.
into Cinderella and Bon Jovi. They wanted something that
Fucking
was
Bon Jovi.
They wanted heavy. They wanted that
Yeah.
fucking edgy shit.
heavy.
Yeah. I just think
They
it's one of
started
those.
writing ballads and that pissed off fans.
Yeah.
It's like
Just be honest with who you are as a band
Right.
or either a singer. Like Brendan Urie, he's a pretty fucking talented guy. He records all of this shit that he writes. Like he'll play the drums for it. He'll play whatever piano part there is. He'll sing it. He'll sing the harmonies for it. He'll do it all. But he also is just like really like into music, and you can tell even when you listen to early Panic at the Disco and like all the shit and stuff that they made then, all the way up to like now.
yeah.
I mean, he's evolved
That's a hell
so
of a
much.
progression.
A hell of a progression, but it progressed. Like it wasn't like boom boom. It was You know,
Mhm.
okay, we're getting a little bit more of this. Oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
go back. We're gonna go into more of this. We're gonna be weird, but we're gonna go back.
Mhm.
I
But-
gotta listen, like Pantera, that never changed.
Yeah.
But that's who they were.
Yeah.
Like, they never mellowed out.
That's who they
were
wanted to
just
be,
all-
and they were
yeah,
honest
they were
about
just
it.
That fucking.
And the same
Southern
with
rock.
Slayer. They've never really changed their sound, and that's
Yeah.
why. And it's like, and this is the big question I have right now, since we're kind of touches on the subject. Is there a band out right now that you guys would like to hear change their sound a little bit? Because I know one band I would like to hear them change it up for once, and
Mhm.
that is Breaking Benjamin. I think they sound
Mhm.
like the same fucking band, and it's annoying. It's like this sounds not this new album they just put out recently. I think it's been like a couple years. I think sounds exactly like the same fucking the first album they put out, and
That's
it's like
because the singer writes all the music.
yeah. And we talked about this in another podcast before, but
Yeah.
it's like come on, change it a little bit.
Well, yeah, 'cause I mean, I'm really into the band AJR right now, and Rob is the one that introduced him to me, and like I've been obsessed, and I just have like this playlist that I keep playing. Well, then I was playing it, and Rob's like, they need to change it up a little bit,
Yeah,
you know, because like that's the one band that I actually do like follow, and I guess I don't notice the similarities as much as he does.
Well, the
But-
song I like, they do this kind of weird singing part. It's kind of it almost makes up an instrument, like another instrument. It sounds really cool, but they were doing it in every fucking song I heard, and I was like, see, it's not cool anymore.
But see,
Mm.
I think
That's
that
what I liked
as
about it.
that's their style.
That's like their thing.
Well, it's like when
thing.
John
That's
Davis
what,
does
That's what
the-
they do.
It's like if John Davis did the fucking bagpipes. That's what made Korn cool, because they played bagpipes, and he did that beatbox shit, that that boom, da ba ga, that whatever the fuck it is. It was cool, but if he would do that every song, it would sound stupid. If
Right.
he played bagpipes in every song, it would sound stupid.
Yeah, because that would be their gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm like, it's now it's boring me.
But
Hmm.
I don't know.
But
I could
see, like I enjoy it because the kind of music I like, I want like, I don't want to say like the same thing over and again because that's not the case, but you want to know who they are. So if they were to get rid of that, it's kind of like, okay, they just sound like any other,
Right.
That's true.
So it makes it, yeah, it may not be your cup of tea for every song, but I enjoy it
Right.
because of that, because I know when I hear it, hey, that's AJR.
There's a band talking about bands who change, I guess, with the times. I don't like Fall Out Boy anymore, and I used to be a huge Fall Out Boy fan. Man, I mean, they're honest in their change. They're fucking cool with it, but for whatever reason, I fucking hate it, and I don't know why. 'Cause like I'm usually we're like, yeah, like Paramore changed, and I was like, yes, here I am. I'm still with you guys. Fall Out Boy changed, and I was like, fuck you.
They like sold out. Like they just
Well, like I feel like Paramore did a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever, but you know what? I guess it's not on the same scale as Fall Out Boy, because I never went to a Fall Out Boy show until like 4 years ago, and fucking Wiz Khalifa opened for them, which was fucking random. I feel like, especially like but you know what? All the people that were there didn't know Fall Out Boy like I knew Fall Out Boy.
I'd be there for
Oh,
more for
yeah.
Wiz Khalifa than anything. I'd be like, fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
they
Man,
knew all,
I've
like,
never
the
seen
new
a
shit.
bigger cloud of weed smoke
Oh,
ever in my
I
life.
bet,
There was
man.
somebody held up a fucking joint that was easily 12 inches long. I could see it from like 40
big
feet back. I
joint.
was like, the
Good
fuck is
lord,
that?
man.
He
That's a-
like
oh,
climbed
that's a
into
foot long pony.
He yeah. I wish
Sorry.
but I wish Fall Out Boy would stop. Stop
Would
doing it.
stop. Just,
Not even
just
stop making music, just
It's-
stop doing what they're doing. I
it's-
feel like they're just doing I feel like they're trying too hard
Yeah.
to stay relevant.
But see, that's what's getting them paid.
Yeah.
They can't.
they were
Whoa.
getting
Can't
paid with the
focus
other
on their
stuff
past
though.
fans. Like, yeah, it's great that you guys are the ones that got us here, but now you
They're
guys
appealing
can
to a
only
new
do so
generation.
much.
You want to get so
Yeah.
much
So
money from
you
record
have
sales
to,
anyway.
You kind of have to adapt with what's on trend, or
yeah.
in order,
because more
'cause
than
this is
likely
their
the old
job.
fans
I mean,
are going to stick around.
Yeah.
The which ones?
Like if you were an OG Fall Out Boy fan,
Mm-hmm.
you're more than likely going to stick around as the sound changes.
Mhm.
The sound changes. They get it's like a snowball as
Mm-hmm.
it rolls downhill. You're in the original snowball, and they're just gonna keep going down the hill to pick up a bunch of new fans with
Mhm.
different sounds. More than likely, you're gonna stick in that snowball.
I'm not fucking sticking.
No,
I'm sticking to the
man.
ground.
Right,
but theoretically,
Right.
yeah,
And
I-
so they, in order to get those new fans, they have to make this new version of themselves,
think-
basically.
I think they
I
just.
feel like it's just too drastic.
I think the whole fucking like. It's almost like it's a cop out. Like they were like sampling shit, like the whole
That's-
Monsters thing.
That's what made me
The
mad. I
Uma
was like, well,
Thurman.
this is this song and this is that song.
Yeah,
and
and that one song was like, da da da.
Yeah.
That
That-
was
I
a
remember.
fucking
that's the one that
song.
got me, and I was like, I fucking know that song. Everyone's
Yes.
like, no, I've never heard it before. Like, that's a fucking.
It's
song.
like it's like you're cheating almost. It's like that's not.
Whenever like the pop people do that, and it's a lot of rap artists, they sample
Mhm.
Yep.
things. It's like,
There
no,
was-
you just can't write a beat.
There was a fucking song on the radio today that was it was literally the tune of "These Are My Favorite
Kid
Things."
Rock's good for that shit too.
That fucking Christmas song, like "These Are a Few of My
Oh, yeah.
Favorite Things."
Yeah.
But it's the same goddamn song. It's in this, and it's the same melody.
Mm.
I was sitting, I'm like, this is that fucking Christmas
It's a
song,
fucking
which I'm
cop
pretty
out,
sure is from
man.
The Sound of Music, isn't it?
I
I don't even know. But anyways, that's
That
beyond
might
the
be
point.
from Sound of
Blindsided
Music.
I feel like
right
it's
there.
from The Sound.
I mean, I just like anything. There has to be a max. You know, there
Mhm.
can be only so
Can
much
be
that you can
only
do
one.
to make it sound different.
Right.
To so
I guess you know what's keeping bands like old Fall Out Boy alive? The fact that they're doing reunion tours because they know that they've got fans that
A lot
are
of bands
that
do
old.
that.
Uh-huh.
Fall Out Boy, Pete Wentz even came out and said that they will never do a reunion tour because that means that they're one of those bands. I'm like, you want to know something? Those bands are still fucking making money because of those reunion
Yeah.
tours. Taking Back Sunday did one 2 years ago, and I didn't have anybody to go
Well,
with.
and
It's fine, but I would have fucking gone.
You know,
Like-
you know why I think they do that? Because the bands that did change their sound, people didn't like it, and they're like, "Fuck, let's do a tour on this album." Like, let's see, Suicide Silence did that because, like, as soon as that was another band,
But if you know it works for you,
yeah,
you know what I mean. It's not working for Fall Out Boy.
right. Well, like Suicide Silence is another example. They, Mitch Luker,
Yeah,
which
he
was
died, right?
he died in a motorcycle accident.
Oh shit.
And that was another example of like when I said earlier in the podcast that when I heard a singer, it gave me that goosebumps feeling. That was Mitch Luker. It was that's when I instantly became a fucking Suicide Silence fan.
Mhm.
And I tell you, we were talking about like a tribute show. They did a show for him when he passed away. Had all these bands, different singers sing their songs. Holy shit! If you ever like Blythe from Lamb of God sings on there. Chad Gray from Mudvayne. Let's see. Tim from As I Lay Dying. It's a lot of big name singers sing on that, and it sounds amazing because they were so well liked,
Mhm.
and like hell, they got a song with because they were big Korn fans because they're not like they're like around my age. They were big Korn fans growing up. Hell, they got a song with Jonathan Davis. He's on one of their songs. I think it was from the Black Crown. That was the last album that Mitch was on there. But anyway, he passed away, and they got the singer Eddie Hermida from All Shall Perish. Now, I thought this was going to be great because I like All Shall Perish. And he joins the band, and it's like, this sounds like horse shit. Like, it doesn't sound like the same fucking band. It just wasn't a good match. And they try to do like a new metal sound. Like he's singing, and it is awful.
Mm.
It is just awful, and they got a lot of shit for it. So what I'm getting at is they did a tour on just the Cleansing album, like their first album, and people, I mean, they were selling out and shit because it's like they wanted to hear that, and they killed it. Now, if they were to come back and do more songs like from that album with Eddie, I think it would be awesome. But trying this new bullshit, not working for him.
What was the Nickelback thing that you wanted to do?
Oh, okay. I read that Nickelback is wanting to do a Slayer cover album. They want to cover some Slayer songs.
What?
I cannot wait to hear that.
Yeah, because I guess they're like they're big metalheads. I'm like, well, if you're that big of a metalhead and you're on Roadrunner Records, remember when Roadrunner Records was like the metal like label, like Slipknot and like who was another big one like Soulfly.
They're smart enough to know what sells.
Yeah,
well,
Like,
that and maybe they
true.
know that that's not their like.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Like they
Nickelback,
might
but
be a big fan of Slayer, but they might not. They might know
they
that they
can't-
can't write Slayer songs.
Yeah.
I just did. Well, it was like one of those things. They've been on that fucking label for years, but like back in the day, Roadrunner Records was like if you were in a metal band, that was the label you wanted to get under because it was or get on because that was like there was all kinds of metal bands that came from that like Typo Negative, Fear Factory, Chimera, that's just a few.
Mm-hmm.
Spine Shank was another one, but anyway, like then there was Nickelback, and you're like,
The fuck?
yeah, and
Well,
it's
maybe it
like,
was just the record trying to get
but
their name out
but
there too.
they're a big deal. They are.
Yeah, people do like
a lot of
Nickelback.
fucking people. I don't get it.
That's
but
so weird.
All right. I think it's a pretty good place to leave it.
yeah.
Oh, I
it's-
was just gonna say
just,
you were
just a-
just really quick.
Okay.
Though we were talking about
Sorry.
Nickelback covering fucking Slayer. What do y'all think about Weezer covering every single fucking
I don't
song
like
that they
it,
ever heard it?
and I like Weezer.
Absolutely.
I'm a big Weezer fan, but I don't like it.
No.
There's a lot of people who love it. I'm a fan of covers.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, but for whatever reason, I think it's because they covered Africa,
Yeah,
and I'm bitter about it because like none of you motherfuckers knew that song 5 years ago, and I know you didn't. And by
Yeah.
none of you, I meant like the younger people who were
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
I love that
yeah.
song. The people who were like 16,
Yeah.
just like fuck you.
Shit, I remember
You were
listening
only
to that,
you were only 11.
listening
You
to
didn't
shit
know
on
that.
WKTN, getting ready for school, and I was always like, that song's the tits.
Yeah.
I still like. I hear that song. I'm like, fuck
I also
yeah.
don't like that cover of that song because I don't think
No.
it's very good.
No, it's to me, it's just. I think they're just having fun. I mean, it's like that's just
true.
Weezer. They're just
They're weird
goofballs
dudes.
anyway. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
And
Why-
again,
why are you
that's
doing
them.
this?
Yeah.
So why should they change them?
I can't
their
say.
To
style?
me, it sounds like it smells like a cash grab.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
I'll give you that. That's how I feel
That's
about
why
it.
I don't like it.
I think my problem,
Like they're
just
broke.
my thing with music today is I feel like people don't make music for the right reasons anymore. They're making
Yes.
it like people are just like, I'm talented, I'm gonna be a singer, I want to make money off
Yeah.
doing it, versus people who are passionate about making music, and you can tell who those people
Yeah,
are.
Yes.
I always said that you can be a great singer, but if you don't have like your heart into it, you're
Mhm.
just going to be a great singer.
Oh, bless his
But you
heart.
can be a mediocre singer and have that heart, and people are going to follow that person
Yeah.
more than the person that has the vocals.
Is that why people thought I was a good front man?
Probably.
Because I'm a horrible singer.
Oh my
I mean, it's just there's more than just talent that goes
Yeah.
into music, and you have to have the heart, you have to have the passion, you have to have the willingness to change
Mhm.
in order to make it in this industry, in that industry.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
bands can have a certain style and they can have that certain distinctive factor, and they can run with it because that's what they're passionate about. But if they're going to start changing for the fans and everything like that, there's only going to be certain people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not why you fell in love with the band. So you just got to appreciate that style, even if they are changing a little bit. Always remember 'em as how you like it. I mean, it may be
I
shit
still
music
listen.
now, but
Yeah. So if it's shit music now, I just listen to what I used to like.
Right.
Of theirs.
I mean,
that's
I
it.
just don't want to be that guy though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to be. I try to find new things, but I feel
I-
like when I find new things, it's just something new altogether.
mhm.
So I always
like-
make fun of those guys. That, that motherfucker's stuck in the 80s. And
I
it's
mean, you
like,
got to look at
So
it
listen to
as
the
a
same
different
thing.
perspective,
Yeah,
not
can't do
knowing
that.
the band previous. Look at it. If you just now discovered the band,
Right.
are
Mhm.
they still?
I'm hard headed though. So.
Well,
All right.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Footlong Pony podcast. Check us out on Instagram at Footlong Pony, and find the rest of our shit exclusively right here on YouTube.
subscribe to that shit, motherfucker.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.